Greetings, Steve Scatesbrook. Friday the 15th of May and just before 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, I just thought I would add another video to the system and perhaps review some of the items that I've been looking at on the blog page, and you'll see that down the bottom there. Just to recap on some of the items and perhaps expand them a little bit. So recent ones I've been doing are the long chat I had with Jonathan Pickup for ArchonCAD. Now, Jonathan and I have been talking for a couple of years now on Vectorworks, and he does a very, very good training session. Most of it is on gotomeet.com, which he uses to expand upon his monthly newsletter, which is basically a 30 or 40 page PDF document with movies embedded in and lots of useful, very useful tips. And what he does is once a month he gets everybody together on gotomeet.com, and he goes over some of the points in a little bit more detail and expands and talks to you about tips and tricks. Very useful, very, very nice to see, or don't see anybody, you can listen to everybody. And I like the banter to start off with. Jonathan and I have just been talking about this, and we wondered whether there is a place for us to meet. In other words, all the Vectorworks architectural style users, or anybody I suppose really, could meet upon gotomeet.com, so that, say, if we went at 8:30 for Seattle, that gives about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock New York time. That gives us about 5 or 6 o'clock in the UK, and that gives Jonathan an early start next morning, because don't forget the international dateline is between him and us. But I thought it might be a good idea where all of the architects and technologists can have a little banter, see what's going, see what work is like. I'm quite busy at the moment, but I know others aren't, and it just might be useful just to talk to everybody. Talk construction, talk Vectorworks, talk life. A virtual office maybe, where everybody gathers around the coffee machine in the morning and see what's been going on. Might be interesting to do, see who's doing what. So I'll leave that with everybody, and perhaps if anybody's interested, just drop us a line or a comment onto the blog, and we'll take it from there and get Jonathan to set it up. Might be good. I know he's going to extend his preliminary area in front of his presentations on GoToMeet, say 15 minutes worth, where we can all have a little chat. Maybe we can extend that. So what else have I done in Rhino? Now, Rhino is one of those products where you think, is it architectural or not? And to be honest, it probably isn't. But it's a damn good CAD package, and there are some excellent people out there doing tutorials on it. And there's a guy there who I've listed, whose name escapes me. But have a look on the blog and watch the video. It's exceedingly good. What else? PC World, going back onto Vectorworks, both PC World and Macworld have done a very, very good article on Vectorworks, and well worth the read. Quite a long one, but it's interesting all the same. RBA product selector, I crash on that one, and as you can see, well, you can't, but mine are up here. That is volume 1, and it's this year's, and it's stacked out with things, mostly products. In fact, all it is products, but it's a nice, easy way to get your literature up to date and usable. I use mine an awful lot. One of the best things that's been done by the RBA in recent years, in my opinion, humble though it is. Prince Charles. Now, Prince Charles is having a go. Well, he's not having a go. He's just saying he'd like to see architecture a bit more classical, and the modern integrated into the classical a little bit more. But some of the architects are getting all that wind about it and giving him a hard time. And there's There's a Channel 4 programme called Newsnight, and they had a go at him on it. And they dragged in a studio architect who had the most incredible hairdo. But he was obviously going to be on one side, and they had someone outside the RBA who was totally on the other side, supporting Prince Charles. I must admit, I'm on Prince Charles's side. Some of the stuff that's been coming out recently I don't like. Some of it I do, but generally I like to see the classical a little bit more. There's mine. I hope you make your own comments and see which way you want to go. Insulation. Now, I spent a good proportion of my adult career being technical manager for the Dow Chemical Company and looking after styrofoam. So insulation is probably an interest of mine. And I tried to set out what all the insulants are in the marketplace in an article. It's interesting when you do that because all products are insulants in their own right. Some are just better than others. Soil, for instance, if you're putting in a roof garden over the top, is an insulant and has to be taken into account. But there are others which are far more usable. I mean, styrofoam was the one that I promoted for years, but there are other extruded insulations which are more than adequately fine for external use, load bearing. Some are better between studs, i.e. quilts, and there's the new one that Procter Insulations called Supertherm, which they're promoting, which I'm big interest in. But all on the site, go and have a look. You'll notice also on the site that I've got my new Thesis web theme up and running, which means that I've got space now to put this video and others in the top right hand side, which is clever, I think. Had to pay for it, but the support is good, and the way that it works is far better than any of the free ones. Obviously free are great, but they don't pack the stuff in. These guys have really gone to town. Packed the optimization, the search engine optimization in. They've put in a lot of work in videos and all sorts of bits and pieces, and it works very well. Bit of a fad to get it going, but eventually I didn't have a problem with it. In fact, I'm very, very pleased with it. Must mention chrisbrogan.com on that, because that's where I saw it, and many thanks to Chris for highlighting it out. I know he uses it, and I'm very pleased. I'm pleased I went. I'm pleased I paid the $80 for it, or wherever it is, and I'm pleased that I've installed it. Excellent. And that's about it, really. Oh, MIT. Now, some time back I did an article about MIT and the fact that they've cracked a very new way of looking at energy production, and I'm just surprised nobody's talking about it. I really am very surprised. I'm a big believer in alternative energies, and I'm just quickly looking for it now. There's a lady who is going around now saying about the use of energy, the meters, the smart meter grids that you should be putting up, and also the way that we use power in accordance when we've got it. In other words, you don't just switch everything on and go walk away from it. Maybe there's an argument for doing things at a particular time, because the smart grid knows that it's a cheaper way of doing it. Also, when your car comes home, we just leave it there. Maybe there's energy stored in it that you want to use for a while. I don't know. But the smart meter system may be a way to go on this, particularly if you're on a grid around some houses and they're all talking to each other and saying, now's a good time to do something because I'm not doing anything. Let's have a think on that one. I'm quite an avard on that one, and I'd like to see more of it. So that's it, really. Quick rant, I suppose, but have a look on the website. There's more information there. I'm just preparing the part 2 insulation document, which is perhaps a little bit more technical side of it. Not too much, just enough for you to understand what's happening in terms of heat energy as it escapes from the building or tries to ingress the building if you're in a warm climate. Condensation, how these silver foils maybe just work. Condensation is a big one, I think. Need to talk about that one a lot. Still, I hope you're all well. Be good, and I'll see you soon.